Hello and welcome to Kabbalistic Astrology, this week's world's forecast. We are Matt Taylor and my name is Nicola Ercolani, and we speak about the weekly world's astrology forecast this week, including energetics, spiritual tools, some personal stories, and we get yourself in order so you can align with the current energies. Hi Matt, how are you this week?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you very much.
That's very good.
Yes.
I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah, me too.
Very good. Well, let's begin, shall we?
Yes, totally.
Right. So we have started a new lunar cycle at the end of last week. So let's talk a little bit about it. The lunar cycle of Sagittarius began last week, coming out of the cycle of Scorpio. As we talked about in Scorpio, it's a very intense
For
energy.
2.5 years.
Yeah, for a long time. I think we did 24 podcasts on it.
24 podcasts on Scorpio season.
That's how intense it is, though.
It is.
It's very intense. It drives us into the realms of the human psyche, all the dark spots, all the negativity, crisis, traumas, the pains. And, we go very deep and internal in the month of Scorpio. Here in the month of Sagittarius, we go completely the other way. We go into a month that's full of blessings, miracles, wonders, hope, joy, optimism, abundance. It's all the easy ride stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sagittarius is a month where, things turn around and things look a little bit more optimistic than what they seem, or a little bit more hopeful. It's ruled by Jupiter, which is the largest planet in our cosmos. So therefore, we get this sense of expansion, this sense of growth. And this is, if you know a Sagittarius, this is what's most important to them, that they feel like they're growing or expanding. They're a fire sign, but their internal element is air. And air is the element that rules the head. So this is the sign of the three fire signs. This is the one that's more interested in really communicating, articulating, debating, learning, passing on information, things that come out into the head and out of the mouth, right? All of our ideas, the things we like to talk about. But because it's Jupiter, it elevates the talking up into a bigger level, like the big strategy, the big beliefs, philosophies, ideas of the world, spirituality. So this is where we elevate it, a lot in this month above the physical world into something that is grander. Whenever Jupiter is involved, we also get a sense of certainty. It is a planet of certainty. So it's giving us a sense of knowing, if you like, particularly in this month. Pisces, which is the other sign that is ruled by Jupiter, it also has the internal element of air. So we elevate into a higher state of knowing, like a knowing that comes from deeper within or from higher above, not a knowing intellectually. Knowing intellectually is very Gemini energy, or Aquarius energy, but knowing from a higher space, a higher place, or a deeper thing within you is very much a Sagittarius or a Pisces kind of feel. High senses of intuition or belief in getting messages from another place. In this sign, it's really the easy ride of the year because it's fire. It's giving us some creativity, some spark, some renewal, some senses of going out and doing new things. Sagittarius, because it's an air internal, is also about change. And there is a lot of internal air or air in the chart right now. So this is a great time to put in new ideas, new things that you would like to try, the new things that you haven't done. New ideas really is coming through. And because there's a lot of air, it's about changing. So maybe you have new ideas that require some kind of change or that you've thought about, but you haven't done yet. This is a great month to start new things because it opens up new spaces, new realms, what I call realms, what the Kabbalists call realm of nature. So we all exist in a realm of nature. These are the things I think is possible, and outside of that is a miracle, right? And if I'm lucky one day. So here we want to believe that we are the CEO of miracles. It's not really something that comes out of nowhere. we are responsible for that. But it's only triggered by us, and we have to trigger it by doing new things. And we have to think of these new things as, how do I want to expand? Where do I want to grow? Where do I want to push the limits a little bit and take on, something that I've always wanted to do? Now, if you are a Sagittarius, or you have a lot of Sagittarian energy within you, that's very easy for you to do. What's very difficult for Sagittarius is being able to focus. And we know that the star sign of Sagittarius is the half man, half centaur with an arrow, with a bow and arrow. Do you know what it looks like, Nicole? Yeah. It's always one of the more famous ones that people know or remember, right?
Mm.
So this is the clue for them. This is the hidden clue to be revealed that helps us win the month. Where am I focused? Where am I shooting these arrows of energy? The arrows are really about where we're shooting the arrows of energy, right? Where are we putting all this? Because if you are Pisces, also, or Sagittarius, you want to put energy everywhere. You want to expand, you want to grow, but there's no real action or focus point. There's no real, like, this is what I'm supposed to be going point. They often want to do everything. So Sagittarius really feel like they should be the boss, because they can't feel, it's not that they're, they don't feel above anybody else, like maybe in an ego way, but they just want to do everything. They want to put all their energy everywhere. So they struggle with bosses often. They feel that anytime that they're limited, that they're contracting. You see, they don't like this energy of contraction. They just feel they need to be doing like really big things all over the place. So they have no focus, no commitment, no real like faith that they're putting all of this energy. And so they're often just talking about it and thinking about it, but it's not really cementing it in. So they're great for strategy, they're great for big picture, but actually aligning it and putting it into focus is difficult, because they don't like to feel that they're getting smaller. So anything where you tell them no, it's not that it hurts their ego in a pride way. It hurts them in the field that they feel that they're small. This is what they think if you tell them no, or you don't like them, or you can't do this, you can only do that, or this is not the right time for you to do this, you have to wait till later. They like criticism, they like feedback, because it goes to the cerebral aspect of them of learning, but they don't like the contraction of it. So we have to understand that when we focus our energies, that's not contraction. It's not meaning that we're leaving anything out. It actually means we're starting to get something done. Okay, so the ego can play a trick in this month that, oh, if I do this and don't pay so much attention to that, I'm not getting something done. It's not about that, because if you put your attention everywhere, you get nothing done. So the miracle and the wonder really needs to come at a place that you really need to focus this energy. And one of the ways that we focus energy is with the mouth. What I'm speaking to, what I'm talking to, what I'm putting all of that creative energy of the words that I say into that. So it needs to be like certain energy, that what I'm going to put myself into has the words of certainty. Now, that's not how we speak, though. I don't have enough. I've got doubts about myself. I'm not good enough. But if I'm doing this, what about that? Am I going to have things tomorrow if I'm only doing, it's like very confusing, very doubt-filled in there. I'm all very busy. Yeah, so we really need to focus this energy through our thoughts, our words, and our actions into the very place that we want to grow and to see miracles. We need to inject that seed into this month, but not feeling like we've got to put it everywhere, because really we just sort of throw the energy around indirect.
Yeah. What I can say is, and what I feel about the Sagittarius energy, there is a huge need of new knowledge. I can feel like in the air there is like a certain opening that wasn't there like in the last couple of months, that that the brain and mind is opening up to new knowing, new ideas, new, but also it has to be connected to something miracle-y, something like something that you cannot put a finger onto if you would need to really speak about it. More philosophy, more more a theory, more ideas, more. And what I also always, like, I say that to everyone, Sagittarius season is the season of putting the vision of next year. It's an ideal time to go into vision work, to like really get, the opening is already there for the next year, to like, what do I want to see next year? Where do I want to put my energy? What is my vision for next year? And then that's a really good moment to go into that personal work.
Yeah. It's a good idea, right? It comes at that kind of time of year where, you know, we're looking ahead, we're looking into big strategies, big plans, big ideas. And it sort of suits the time of year for, it makes a good use of the energy exactly to what you speak, you know, for your business, for your relationships, or whatever area that you're looking to expand or to grow or to take to a next level. But you've got to give them some kind of shape or some kind of focus, right? Which is what you're saying. So that's super good. So Jupiter, which is its ruling planet, went direct this week. So it's been retrograding for a few months, I think since July. So now it's went out, because it was retrograding, it went out of Aries back into Pisces, which is one of its signs that it rules. So it's very happy there, and it will be there till the end of the year, and it's going forward. So we get this massive expansion into really almost other realms, because Pisces is the spiritual realm. So we're really going beyond this realm of nature, this realm of this physical world, all of the limitations within it, all of the places that I think this is all that's possible for me. We're getting a sense that something else, you know, bigger and larger, and really what I believe in is possible. Now, if you look at this week, you go to China, where they've been in lockdown for 2 months.
Yes, I saw it. I was so happy.
Right, yeah. So they've been in lockdown for, well, nearly 3 years. And during that time, the dictator, authoritarian leader of China, made himself impossible to remove. So he changed the law, and so you have no democracy. He's it. That's what you got. And so underneath all of that has been brewing away this lockdown, but not all that. But China is free falling in its economy. One of the reasons for that is not only do we have Pluto, which is going over the Pluto of the United States, but next year Pluto will be sort of still touching on the United States as Pluto, but also starting to touch on the China's moon. China's moon is in Aquarius, at the beginning of Aquarius, and the moon of the the Pluto of the United States is at the end of Capricorn. So they sort of come together, and the moon is people, us. So Pluto coming in means upheaval amongst its people. So we will continue to see that, but it's coming from a true place of what we believe in, that I believe, and I have certainty in something, certainty that when I go out and do something, it's going to make a difference, right? So whatever we're looking to uproot or upheaval or push against, it's not necessarily always a government. It's often things in our own mind, often things that govern us, that are very much, you know, our own limited thoughts, our own limited ways of conducting ourselves, but really the limited ways of what I think is possible. I mean, we've all done it. We've all said to somebody, why don't you go and do this? And then they go, oh, no, not me. And it's completely obvious that that's what they need to be doing. But because our ego twists everything around the other way, what we think we're good at, we're not. And what we don't think we're good at, we are. Right? That's why criticism offends us so much, because we have so much wrapped up in what we think we're good at, and nobody else really honestly does. So criticism and feedback in this month is super good to hear. It's super good to go and ask about your ideas, about what you're thinking, about your new strategies, new plans for elevation, and listen to what comes back, because angels are trying to get into our ears. The messages are trying to get into our ears about what we need to do that may not be in our normal realm of thinking.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Cannot wait to see. Like, when I saw that the Chinese people now started finally to go against their lockdowns and finally started to step up against the regime. I was so happy, because for me that is a sign for many different countries, for many people that are suppressed, that now there's something happened now with this rebellion in China, because the Chinese were always the people that I was like, oh, this government does anything, like they can do anything with their people and they're obeying. Like the Chinese population from afar looks as like a very, very submissive population, which is following the rules very well. But what they do now with these people, they're letting them starve to death. They cannot get out of the houses. They are like enclosed in there. And so to see that finally, even like the most submissive people on planet, the most submissive, like, you know, there are collectives, and a country has a collective mind also, and that finally there is a collective rebellion against being enslaved, and that's like absolutely amazing. And it also will allow other collectives to step up against the regimes, and I think that's absolutely beautiful, and it's wonderful to see. I'm very,
and it's not even, yes, it's not even happening on such an obvious level. In fact, many, you know, podcasters and reporters are saying that the Chinese are just not protesting, but they're not doing anything much, that they're slowing down the economy by sort of really just going on a really slow pace of work, or not doing the minimum, or just appearing and just being there in the office. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah,
this is a really clever way of doing it, because obviously in China it's horrendously dangerous to protest against the government. We see that they're swiftly taken away. So, you know, so there's other ways that they're protesting that are not so overt as, you know, going out on streets as well. So to me, this is a kind of, you know, Pluto coming in on the United States. We can see from their latest elections that the country is completely divided, right down the middle, 50-50 politically. And so, you know, they have a lot of political and ideological issue. And also we will see the same, this is what Pluto does. It really brings upheaval in the whole systems, particularly in administrations, where Capricorn is, and Aquarius, where the moon is of China, with the people. So coming back to Jupiter in Pisces, it's giving us a real elevated senses of certainty, the things that really I'm sure about, or I have a knowing about, but from a deeper place, not an intellectual place. And Sagittarius takes us into the same realm, because we're really matching with the Jupiter Pisces and the month of Sagittarius into that bigger realm of something that we are very certain about, that is beyond the normal realm of nature.
wonderful.
Yes, just to go on a little bit more, we will, in the month of Sagittarius, we will have Gemini Rising. So it's what I want to go out and speak about, right? Or protest about, or talk about, articulate. Gemini is about meeting new people, new information, but more cerebral information, not the information with Sagittarius, more like brain information, ideas, talking, passing around things, right? Meeting new people, making new connections, doing new things. And it's another air energy. So it's really taking us up into words, up into thought, things I want to change. So it's all matchy-matchy in the chart at the moment. It's not really discombobulated energies. So the other thing is that Mercury is in Sagittarius. Mercury rules Gemini, and Mercury is in Sagittarius. So the Mercury in Sagittarius is giving us the ability to feel all these lofty ideas and take them all out and do new things and make new actions, and you shake things up a little bit. So we can see that this normal sort of very realm of nature that we often live within, this very sedentary realm of nature that we live within, is kind of being agitated and shaken up into what's possible, what's new, what can I change, what could be different, what if I really feel that I could push through and get a whole new realm of nature. And this is actually what a miracle is. When I expand the realm of nature into going, oh, it's going to be like this as well. I never saw that before. So it's completely there, but we're just blindsided by our own logical brain stuck in the one way of only things could be. And the final point is that the moon begins in Capricorn this week. So we will have a month that really puts things in a week, sorry, that really wants to put these things into a structure, into a physicality. So it's quite a helpful energy with all of this air to have this kind of like, okay, now we need to plan it or structure it or put it into the ground, or how much time and how much money have we actually got for this? All the practical questions of a Saturnian Capricorn about putting it into the physical. What, right? Well, how do we work for this? How do we earn this idea? How do we make this idea manifest? Right? This is the heavier aspect in, but it's useful. It's very useful this week. It's not so limiting. It's actually more of an energy that gives us a vessel that puts all of this head energy into. Yeah.
Wonderful. I to that I have to say one thing about like the moving on, the Capricornian energy. Every Sunday I have dinner with my family. We are Italian, so that's what we do. We have dinner together. And yesterday evening I was alone with my parents, and my dad was like, I really don't understand what you do, Nicole. I don't understand what is it that you do with your life, and why do you do all these things, and why do you always change? When you do one thing and then you change, and why do you never stay with the same thing? And I looked at him and I was like, well, it's called evolution. I do things, and then I have an evolution within myself, and then I know deeper what I want to do and who I am, and then I'm doing that. That's what it's called. And he looked at me like, that's such a good explanation. And I said to him, well, when you began with your car, my dad had a car repairing company. I said to him, when you began with your car repairing company, you had certain kind of materials and tools that you would work with. And what you want from me is that I stay with the same hammer, the same screwdriver, the same toolbox for 45 years. And this is just not what it is. You always bought new material, new tools, new machines to have an evolution in your work. And this is what I do as well. And then I think something happened, and that's maybe sometimes evolution of people around you or of yourself as well, don't look very logical. It doesn't look very planned. It doesn't look very, sometimes you cannot follow, but that doesn't mean that there is not an evolution. So
I think this is a great example, the way that a father or a mother looks at their child is completely within a limited realm of nature. They think their child at the end of the day. They've seen it from zero to whatever. But we see people. I wouldn't say you are a lot of change. I would see you with something very different. I see you changing. No, that's not the issue, but I see you with someone more thinking about it. Being in Switzerland, same place, you've changed your job, but I wouldn't say that. But, I think you're doing a lot of changes now in your life. But that aside, more on the bigger level, we see our children, or we see people we know in a very limited way. And anything that they go out of that, we cannot really understand. So even though they're doing that, I'm still going to see you as that way. And you're just doing something weird or strange or beyond logic, at the moment. But I think it's a great example of how we all do it. Even not to ourselves, but to other people. We hold them in a realm of nature, and this is all we think this person can do, and it's all possible for them. And it becomes very like, this is what I see you as, this is who you are, and I'm going to treat you the same every time I see you. We don't expand around possibility, and maybe there's other things about this people. Maybe they're different today. Maybe they've changed in some way. Maybe they're, really doing some work and doing some quick changes, whatever. So I think it's a great conversation, no?
Yeah, it was
to
a
demonstrate
wonderful
that point.
conversation, and I
Yeah.
also think it shows very plastically, very the image of the difficulty. Even when you see someone like every week, like my dad sees me every week, and I, as a person, I haven't changed. I'm the same person like 5 years ago. You know, I have the same values. I'm still the same person, and I told him like uh, my parents throughout my whole childhood, throughout my whole life, not only childhood, but in the childhood, it started in childhood. They always say, Nicole, they said, Nicole, you're not Mother Teresa. You cannot save everyone. You cannot. You're not her. And yesterday when I spoke to him, we had this huge conversation. I said to him, well, you always said I'm not Mother Teresa, but maybe I am the new Mother Teresa. Maybe I am Nicole Ercolani, and that's my job, is to support people in their evolution and to make them feel better. Maybe I am this is part of my job, to live for everyone and not just one person. And I think this discussion, even though you see someone very often, also if you have friends that you know for a very long time, like, when have you opened your mind last time to give them a new box? That you put them in boxes. We put people in boxes. We all do. We put also our services in boxes, by the way. Like, how often, if you have your own company, how often did you rethink, is this service that I'm offering still the best that I can offer? I do that constantly. That's why shit changes all the time. But maybe that's something like your own inner evolution is a role model to other people, for them to be allowed to have an own evolution. And so that was this discussion yesterday, and it showed it very beautifully. My dad is a Gemini, so for him to understand things, and my brother is a Sagittarius, so it's like really interesting to see what they do in this Sag season, where the mind is so amplified. And
Yes,
also
and they're the signs of a kind of intellectual demulation, both
yes,
of them, aren't they?
totally. And also, as a last sentence, I feel to say, like, um allow your mind, like, it's a decision to allow your mind to open up to new possibilities. You can command your mind, and if you do that, you command your mind to open up to new ways to see yourself, but also to see others. I think that is super beneficial at the moment.
Yeah, so we are in a realm of new possibilities, not
Yes, we
holding
are.
on to the old.
Miracles upon miracles.
Love it. Thank you for
Wonderful.
today. It was very, very beautiful.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. We wish you a wonderful week, and we see you guys next week if you would like to.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.